Greetings everyone, welcome back to my sketchbook. I got another one of these surprise packs, and it's all related to like Pokemon cards. But what's weird about them, of course, is that these are resealed things, so somebody's already kind of looked through them. I'm sure that if there's anything of any real deal value, they might give you one or two once in a while. I don't know. But I've bought a few of these a few times, and it just seems like kind of fun. So let's see what this is all about. What is this? Oh, I guess this is the sleeves, but they're in color. Okay, well that's awesome, I guess. All right. Now, the reason why I do this is, well, I end up giving this stuff away, but I like to surprise myself with one of these things and just quickly draw a version of whatever one I think is kind of neat. Sometimes I choose the right card, sometimes I don't. It doesn't matter. It's just kind of fun to see what this stuff is. What is this? Do stuff online. Okay. What do we got here? Arted backs. I don't know what that is. Tepic or Tepig. An Iron Valiant. Awesome. What do we got here? More plastic, more bits of papery cardboard stuff. Koffing. Something about that's kind of funny. Macro. It's kind of a spooky looking thing. Coffant. It's like an elephant. What does this one slide off to? Macro down here. Petilil? Petilil? Okay. Weeding gloves. Well, that's kind of cool. So somebody probably was thinking about stuff when they were repackaging this. I think, I'll ramble on in a second after I look at this. Could this be awesome? Rare candy. Scoop net. This is trainer stuff. As it says up here. Scoop up net. Tool jammer. And a snow leaf badge. And this is a, yeah, well, it says it's a trainer's pack. Well, didn't lie. What amongst this? Scout and Koffing. I don't know which one is the one that I want. Or Tepig. I don't know, but I'll have to choose between these two, and I'll probably Koffing, I choose you. There you go. So someone's going to be happy to get some more Pokemon cards, although they mainly play Pokemon Go now. So we'll see how that goes. Let's open up this inkwell. Let's grab a pen. Let's grab the pen. And let's get to work. So this appears to be almost like a balloon-like creature. Landmine kind of, not landmine, a sea mine. And maybe it gas, so it has gas and creates smog, something like that. That's a weird little thing. I don't really understand the card game as much, But we're going to try something here. What if... What if our friend here is suffering a little bit from gas? Maybe they had way too much awesome stuff to snack on, or maybe they're lactose intolerant. That could be funny. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. So, get it to kind of focus and lock down. Yeah, so I mean, this seems like a funny little creature. I don't know how often any of you suffer with this sort of thing. I am not lactose intolerant, but at times, though, if I find that I'm eating a lot of cheesecake, I can get a stomach ache. That can happen. Now, if you eat a lot of cheesecake, you can get kind of bogged down by it. And what fun is there in that? Now, this symbol here, if you're familiar with something called WHMIS, which is the Workplace Hazardous Information Sheet, it is kind of a universal sort of symbol of, well, poison, but a warning that something terrible could happen. So like, the skull and crossbones. Well, it's an interesting. Well, I'll just draw kind of a version of whatever that thing is. And I'm going to do a different version of the skull and bones anyway. Because I don't have to do things exactly the same. So I straightened those. No, I'm not going to bother. I don't know if these are bonus little arms. Well, let's just try to do this. This poor creature was just out and about, doing things, trying not to be too much of a bother, and lo and behold, a bellyache started to settle in. And while they were just kind of floating around, let's say, because I don't know how this thing really does movement, I have to assume that they float around like a balloon. Maybe they happened upon what would be something that would be fun to eat, but maybe would have different consequences to it. Let's say a big old bowl of candy. Now I'm going to make sure that I have like kind of like 2 feet like things here. That's almost as fun as I want that to be. I don't know if these are supposed to be arms here, or there'd be representation of more of these sort of like little spike things, but they're just strategically placing them. Well, let's just kind of put a couple here. Just that is as easy as anything that I could come up with out of that. But as a bonus, though, let's work on this grimacing thing, which is one of the saddest McDonald's characters of all time, I think. Poor Grimace. He had a bit of a fame resurgence a little bit ago, where I think people were getting these Grimace milkshakes and then pretending that somehow this was devastating to their systems and would leave them catatonic from such a glorious feed. I think that was a weird little trend. But what makes Grimace sad to me is basically just based on the name. So when you grimace, it's not usually because it's a joyful event. Then some of the other characters, there was somebody that stole hamburgers. I don't understand what they were doing when they came up with some of this stuff. But Grimace, though, poor old Grimace. I don't think he was like frantic all the time, but he seemed to be kind of like a little bit of a worrywart. Is that possible? I'm just going to surround some of this my poor buddy Koffing. They really go out of their way to come up with cool names, huh? The Pokemon world. They must trademark this stuff too, because why else would you do this sort of thing? You got to come up with neat characters and then see which one sticks. But there's so many different Pokemon that coming up with a trademarked name for things, that's got to be kind of tedious. And then it has to relate to how that character does things. Like, yeah, that can't be fun. Anyway. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here. You know the next secret that's going to happen. I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to ruin this by putting water to it. Because that is the funnest thing in the world to me. Sort of. Not really. I can come up with much funner things. Oh, yeah. Scratch in some of this. It almost feels like more time is going into this than it took to draw the thing. Now this isn't complicated what I'm doing here. I'm simply placing down color in a fun way so that I can bring out my devastating #1 detailer brush. Zippity doo dah. And I'm going to move some of this around. I've been fortunate in my life to see and meet people who have dedicated themselves to different art forms. And they're interesting because of that focus. And perhaps they give up something to do that thing. So if any of you have played musical instruments, or you've well, let's say played sports. So like sports, for example, you may have gotten up extra early because usually in certain like minor leagues, they save some of the best ice times for like hockey players for the ones that kind of make more money, if that makes sense. So if someone's selling tickets to a game, they're not likely to want to go at 6:30 in the morning and pay money. So that's yeah, anyway, so that's usually when you would go to have your practices and stuff, is really early in the morning. That's really interesting, the time that you invest in this sort of thing. Now, when you're doing it for fun, that's a different thing. When you're doing this as like a hope for a career, or, well, sometimes the fun is not there for you. I know people that have made it to the NHL and they had pretty decent careers and got to hold a cup above their head. That's pretty cool. Not everyone gets there. So if you're familiar, and this is someone I've never met, but if you're familiar with football and the Detroit Lions, they had a legendary running back who, I remember a story where I think even the owner of the team asked if he wanted to be traded towards the end of his career. Now, I'll have to verify this. For a chance to win the Super Bowl. And for him, his dream was just getting to the NFL. So he spent basically his whole career in Detroit. That to me is amazing. Whereas someone like Ray Bork, at the time, before he retired, he went to the Colorado Avalanche. And, you know, sometimes different teams, their fan base can be pretty rough, but everybody wanted that defenseman to hold the cup. So in a lot of ways, they tolerated that. The fans, I mean, they didn't feel abandoned. They just felt that, you know what, he's dedicated himself so much to the sport that he gets kind of a pass to do that thing for his childhood. Because yeah, when you're a kid, you want to hold up that cup. Last thing here. So around this creature, there seems to be gas, and these might be like little vents, which is kind of disgusting. Okay, well, let's just say we're going to have a suffering one right here. So this will be, and I'm using this kind of awesome color here. Oh, this poor creature. Just all that candy did no favors. And he's just putting along. pray for Koffing, for the misery that our friend here is having. Normally, I would assume that this is a special thing that would be used as an attack. But this poor bubble guts, this poor. Anyway, oh, Koffing. I wish you all the best, my little friend. So that gives me a little bit of time to get out my detailing brush again, which I've cleaned, and I'm going to blur this up a little bit. Leaving a little bit of an outside edge if I can. Because that looks awesome. This one right here. Just out here making clouds. It's almost my favorite part of this whole thing right now. Poor Koffing. I'm going back into this spot here to see if I can kind of get him to blush a little bit. He's sort of embarrassed. He's not here to really ruin anyone's day. He or she or they are not here to ruin anyone's day. I don't know anything about this creature. And back to the pen. We're almost done here. I'm going to do kind of a quick little outline. So often I like to listen to music when I draw, but I don't for this. Just so you can hear me rambling. But if there's something you think I should listen to, a song or some music that is so epic, let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to, at some point in the very near future, check out some cool stuff that some other people are doing, and I'll let you know. That happens every once in a while with me, where I get a recommendation and be like, oh, you should hear this, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, and I'll be like, yeah, I get it, this is awesome. Outlined. Next, a little bit inside the mouth here. Take care of these beautiful little fangs. Poor Koffing. Now I'm going to leave the pupils kind of blank like this, and I think that's like a little trick of sorts, just to show that there's a little bit of devastation going on for our little friend here. let's see. I think that's it. I don't think I need to go too much further than that. Well, you know what? Let me look at the little skull thing down here. Skull and bones. The little air pirate that this creature might be. Little Koffing. And then we'll be done. Put in these little wavy bones. I like it. Well, that's it, folks. I do believe that is it. That is our little friend. I'm going to kind of maybe back this out just a little bit. Let him kind of float around a little bit. Oh yeah, I like it. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao for now.